Hello, good afternoon. I'm Tom Hepworth. You're watching South Today. Thank you for joining us. The headlines this lunchtime: a lorry load of trouble. People living on a quiet country road say they're fed up with trucks using it. People living on a country lane near Bognor Regis say their lives are being made a misery by large lorries. They say tens of thousands drive past their homes to a haulage business at a local nursery every year. Here's Sean Killick.
Exasperated residents capture on camera some of the lorries they say are blighting their lives. They believe Lake Lane at Barnham is unsuitable for HGVs, and they've put this video together to lobby Arran District Council. The road width makes it difficult for two lorries to pass each other. Residents say this is the result: damaged verges and cracked roads.
BBC Sussex with Neil Pringle.
Our top local story at BBC Sussex this morning now at 8 minutes past 7 o'clock. People living in a village in West Sussex have resorted to filming lorries driving past to prove just how big a problem they're in. They say tens of thousands of heavy goods vehicles drive past their homes on Lake Lane in Barnham every year, and it's making their lives a misery.
Yeah, good morning, Neil.
Tell me, what is it?
Just one of the...
Oh, that was it, was it?
That wasn't a lorry.
Right.
No, that wasn't a lorry. That was a Range Rover. I just want to give you an idea of the width of the road. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hand the microphone to the guest I'm going to speak to in a minute, and I'm going to just pace it out across the road, and you'll know exactly the size we're talking about. Okay, so here we go. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4 paces across the road. I'll put my headphones back on. So that's how narrow it is, Neil. About 4 paces. And then I've got Andy Taylor with me. He's a local resident. What's it like then?
What generally happens with the HGVs down this road is that they're going to a nursery to pick up goods that have been grown there and then transport them on to supermarkets and garden centres, places like that. Stuart Lyons Haulage, I suspect, are a redistribution company. What they do is they're not only picking up produce from the nursery where they're based, but they're also bringing in produce from outside and then redistributing it to parts of the county, the country, and sometimes even abroad. That means that you're getting a lot more traffic than you've had before. At the beginning of the year, he put in an application to have a licence to permanently station 24 HGVs and their trailers on this site. And there's a condition which he's currently trying to get changed with Arran District planners, which limits what can be done on this site. And essentially, you cannot operate heavy goods vehicles.
Just in a nutshell, what's your fears if things continue?
Accident. It's an accident waiting to happen. I mean, I've seen some things with the articulates that have come past my house. One guy reversed into a lamppost and brought that down close to a woman with a pram, and me, because I was there, I saw it happen. A bus, I think, has gone into a ditch. Cars are constantly having to back up and get out the way of these things because they straddle the road. They're too wide for this particular lane. And on top of that, of course, you know, when I'm at home all day, because I write from home, and I've never experienced this before. When one of these things goes past the house shivers because the air displacement that goes on. I've never come across that before, where a whole house sort of just vibrates like that.
Stuart Meyer is from the CPRE in Sussex. Hello, Stuart. Thank you.
Yes, good morning,
for joining
Neil.
us.
I mean, we're not actually talking about a horticultural business here, really, Neil, are we? We're talking about a haulage firm. And while horticultural businesses, there are a lot of horticultural sites along Lake Lane. It's very narrow, as Andy Taylor was saying a few minutes ago. It's difficult for lorries to pass. This is a haulage depot, as I understand it, and it just seems to me a very inappropriate place to try and site a depot where trucks are going to be running in and out on a regular basis.
But haulage depots also employ local people, don't they?
Well, they do, yes, and so do horticultural businesses, but you have to site both of them in the right place. You know, these are actually really quite big industrial complexes, and big trucks need to get in and out quite often.
So you would say that it's down to the planners to make sure that inappropriate businesses don't get sited on narrow roads, which means that unnecessary necessary lorries get through. That's basically the gist of what you're saying.
I think that's exactly right, Neil. It is down to the planners as we see it, and we very strongly sympathise with local residents. We just see this as being the wrong place to put this business. This business needs to go somewhere, but relocating it here, it just seems entirely the wrong approach to take.
All over the place, much to the annoyance of local people. And I'm just walking up the drive here to meet a couple of ladies who live next door, Anne Chipchase, who you heard in that report by our colleague Sean Killock, and also Jan Halstead. Jan, what's it been like?
It's been awful. It's like living in a war. The lorries are continually going past the house. You've got nowhere to go. People can't go out at certain times of day. People are having to change their behaviour because they can't negotiate the lorries. I know of one little lady down the road who doesn't go to church anymore to choir practice because she can't cycle along the lane because of the lorries.
Jan, what do you fear then? What is it you're worried about most? Is it your properties, your families, or quality of life?
I'm seriously worried about health and safety. The rucks in the road are so dangerous that you have to negotiate round them, which narrows the road considerably. And you can see from the pictures and the footage I've taken that two lorries cannot negotiate that lane. They cannot pass each other. So what happens is one of the lorries have to reverse backwards. And they have no hazard lights, no warning. And when you go to the junction at the end of the road, the lorries have to turn against the traffic. So you can be an oncoming vehicle and you have an HGV lorry actually turning across the road into your path. And I'm a nurse, and I've looked after people on motorbike accidents, and I know it's an accident waiting to happen. The properties, the cracks, yeah, there are cracks and wall damage and environmental damage, but there will be an accident here, and something has got to be done about it. This is a year down the line.